Where are we headed next?
Okay, we are in Cardiff right now, and we're gonna head over to the seminar in Bicester. Bicester? No, it's not Bicester. It's Bicester.
It's a little bit north of Oxford, yeah?
Yeah, it's around Oxford. Bicester. I'm pretty sure it's Bicester, but I'm from Wales. So I don't know. But yeah, we're going to Bicester. I've taught there twice before with Natalie. Actually, when I was a brown belt, she was one of the people I first did like a seminar with. She's one of the first people who like actually had me in to teach, which I really appreciated, and helped me be able to do seminars in the first place. So it's really cool to go back there now. Like I've gone back as like slowly I've grown and gotten older, obviously, and my career's gone like better, obviously. So yeah, I'm excited to see her and teach, and yeah. So.
Cool.
Thank you so much for having me again. I'm not back in the UK as often now, but it is really nice to be back, and I miss it a lot. So yeah, let's have fun together. Thank you.
I was going to say welcome to Gabriel. This is Gabriel. His jiu-jitsu's not too shabby either. So there's some questions there. So like, you know, you want to get involved, ask him some questions, make sure that you do. Alright, should we start? Yes. Alright guys, let's all circle up in the middle. I'm locking this arm in front, and then from this point, I'm going to take this arm here, underneath the armpit, but I'm keeping this blocking. I'm not just going to reach here and leave this arm down, because I can cross face through that grip. So I'm going to switch, I'm going to pass the arm over. So here, I pass under the tricep, extend his body away, and now this leg is fully open where he can't cross face. Now I can reach to the leg, use my knee to push away, and now we have a nice, easy entry into X. Okay? Is everyone happy about this that way? Do you feel that? All on this side. Easy. Leg on the inside. And then the hand. This before. Yeah, so if you turn it down, you can literally peel it up towards the side. 2 foot in the leg, up. And from here, I'll keep it hand facing, so I can finish nicely for you.
My name is Natalie Day, and I run a jiu-jitsu school here in Oxford in the UK. I think I'm one of the only women in the whole of Europe who has their own school. I teach everybody, men, women, and kids. And I also run an events company called Grow Events, which is why you're here today, because I've hosted seminars and I run tournaments and things like that. And yeah, and this is our third time hosting Ffion. Ffion, I think, had just run the Worlds at Brown Belt. And I knew of her on the scene. Every now and again, she would pop up on Facebook as a blue belt, like looking for matches at local tournaments. She was really struggling to get matches. I was like a white belt at the time on the scene, having the same issue, having to fight like teammates and all that crazy crap. And I could see that she was like a female who was coming through, who was dealing with all of the adversity that comes with being a female in the sport. And I had a very similar thing at the time. but on the coaching side of things. So I was competing, but I was trying to be a coach at the same time, teaching as a blue belt, so which was like not the done thing. And I went all in, and I gave up my career as a social worker, started teaching full time, and hosting Ffion was one of the best things that I did at that time, because it kind of broke the mold. And I think at the time I was told, oh, you're going to make a loss on this seminar. It's only going to be women that come. You know, are you sure you want to do this? And I was like, 100%, because I want to learn from her. Like, she's just won worlds. She's got like such a beautiful game. But also, like, I want to be able to contribute a little bit to her journey as well. And like, she's going to need money. She's got to travel. She's got to train and compete. And I knew how expensive tournaments were and things like that. And so it was amazing, like, to meet her back then. Ffion was quite shy. And I remember her coming into the seminar and me like gathering everybody together and telling them to sit down and introduce Ffion. And once she started teaching, she said to me, like, she said, "Oh, you really command a room." And I said, no, you just have to be loud. Like, people listen when you're loud. She's like, I got to work on that. And then watching her today, my God, like, she's just revolutionized herself, you know, into being this loud, commanding person, which is just the best ever, really, to see.
I know you're so you can yell now.
2021, lockdown had just been lifted, and so we hosted Ffion again. I knew, I could see it in her, like, the hunger was different. After COVID, the hunger was completely different. And it was an absolute joy to host that seminar and then watch her just like go off and smash it, like completely and utterly smash it. And obviously she went on to New York and, you know, and did everything that she's done. And yeah, I'm just like super happy for her, but also like she's so inspirational because she is who she is. She doesn't hide behind a persona like we spoke about earlier. She's authentic. She shows vulnerability, which makes her really easy to relate to. And what you see is what you get. And I think in a world full of bullshit, like, that's just really refreshing. And she's relentlessly authentic, and that's what I love about her. So I am always happy to hear from her, always happy to host her. Like, she's awesome.
Yeah, the vibes are very good. Right,
Okay, I'm gonna pull back a little bit.
sorry, moist.
I love that word.
So we talked a little bit about how she's known you since brown belt, or no, since before then, but she hosted you at brown belt. And so you were telling me about how she was a bit monumental in your journey and stuff. So
Yeah, I just always think of this like I don't know, I didn't really get seminars at brown belt, and it was really, really important for me to get them. So having you host me was a big deal, and I think just being seen teaching at your gym, and then other people, that's how I ended up getting more people asking me to come to seminars, because they're like, oh, well they had her, so okay, I'll get her too. And then it was like, at the time, it was every month, I had to get a seminar to stay in Ireland. And it was like, if I don't stay in Ireland, I have to go back to Wales. And there's places to train, of course, but at the time, I really wanted to stay out in Ireland and to be able to, for me, it was like, that was the place for me to really pursue jiu-jitsu, and yeah, like, if I couldn't afford to, if I didn't get a seminar that month, it was kind of like, okay, time to go home. And not that I couldn't pursue it, but it made it a lot harder. So.
how do you feel being back here for a third time?
Ben hasn't injured me as well, I'm like concerned. Oh no, it's really cool because there's so many friends, and like both Ben and yourself, and then like Haley's here too, and it's just so many familiar faces and people, and also people from your gym who I've seen who are literally little children, and I didn't even recognize some people because I was like, you're an adult.
Yeah,
like, this is great.
that happens, right?
That's scary. I was like, oh, I feel very sure. But no, it's really, really cool to see, and to see how the gym's developed. It's just really exciting, and also it's like, I think you have to be probably the only female gym owner in the UK.
I think I am the only independent female owner in the UK, so I'll take that.
Yeah, which is
As you should.
Yeah.
As you should.
You know, and I would like to follow you.
I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see where Ffion goes with that. Like, I think that's going to be absolutely awesome. And like, selfishly hoping that it's here, because you know, like that would like
make my life easier because I could go and train and hang out and stuff.
I don't know, maybe if it was like in Cardiff or something.
Yeah, I'm not wishing a career away or anything, but I'm just retire and become a...
Oh no, I'm so ready.
Because it's the two of you and you've seen the growth of, and don't, again, I always have to preface, don't say no. Okay? Whenever I say something too nice about her, she goes, no.
Oh, okay.
No, we hate ourselves at British.
Yeah.
It's the
What
culture.
would you say Fion's impact has been not only on the women's I know you. Not only on women's jiu-jitsu. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Not only on women's jiu-jitsu, but specifically like the UK women's jiu-jitsu scene. Like,
Oh, it's been massive. She's given people like hope. We live in a bleak little island and there's terrible weather and we all get beaten shitless by the men in our gyms. And Fion's out there waving the banner of hope for us all.
I also get shit like that.
I think that Ffion has shown like what's possible, and also we don't win anything ever in Great Britain. Like,
I think it's changing though. There's way more people coming through now.
oh yeah, like there's loads more now
Yeah.
coming through, but we're talking about you, and I know you don't like talking about you, but that's what I was told to do. But they're coming through because you've blazed that trail, you've done it, and you faced huge adversity, which nobody would really talk about as well. And although there are other women obviously facing adversity and things happening, like you kind of smashed it, you conquered it, right? Rather than letting it beat you down. Because it would have been easy, I guess, at times to kind of go, fuck this, like it's rough, it's hard, you know, but you did it, you kept going. So yeah, and we all sit on our sofas and go, Fion's on, let's go, you know? And so it just gives us somebody to believe in, which,
I just wanted to ask that as a little bit of a full circle moment because you had such an impact on her, and then to see you. How does it feel to know that you? Don't cry. I feel like you look like you might cry. Sorry. You can cry. You can cry. I'm not telling you not to cry. I'm sorry if I made you cry. How does it feel knowing that you were a huge fan? You had a belief in her before she knew to believe in herself. I'm sorry. I'm an emotional person. What do you that I have?
I think that's like part of it. Like we can all do jiu-jitsu because we love jiu-jitsu, and we can go and teach, we can open gyms, and we can do like the mainstream stuff. But the reason I started jiu-jitsu is because it changed my life entirely, right? And I could see like Ffion, she was trying to change her life, and she was really good at it, and she really loved jiu-jitsu, and I really love jiu-jitsu. So being able to help somebody, even in like a really small way, like achieve what they're trying to achieve, because at some point she's going to do the same, right? Like she is. She's blazing the trail. That's going to be it. You're going to help loads and loads of people, probably loads and loads of women as well, to like reach their full potential. One day she's going to have this team of badass bitches who like rock up to the world and just slay everybody. And like, I think sometimes you need a cheerleader because the self-doubt, well, that's always there, right? It's always there because of all the shit that you're fed. But like, it's why I teach kids, because I can see the difference that it makes in children. Like, it's my gift. It's like they give so much to me because I'm able to do it, right?
They're such nice kids.
They're great, right? Like
I'm not really kids anymore.
they're not really kids, like since they were 8 years old. Like, you know, came here, couldn't speak a word of English, didn't have any friends, was really badly bullied. Like, it's on Grapple Fest in March, you know, like it's an amazing thing. But it was the same thing with Ffion. Like, I could see how hard she was having to work to actually even fucking get to the tournaments. Like, if we don't raise each other up, like nobody else is going to do it for us. So we have to back each other. I think that's what life's all about.
Would you like to say anything else?
Oh, just it was such a pivotal time, and I appreciate it so much.
Well, thank you, because it's really so and now they, right? They're driving all over the country to come and be with you and learn from you, and you absolutely smashed it. You said to me back then, you were like, how do you command the room like that? I remember that. I was like, I'm just loud. Like, I'm just loud. It does. That's all it takes, right? Being loud, right? Just be loud.
And I was like,
And then she walks in and she's all loud. And I'm like, yeah,
she's done it. She smashed it. World titles and all that. But it's slowly. Being all you. That's all. Yeah. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I know.
Thank you for letting me steal you guys for a few.
No, it's fine.
Okay, so what we're going to do next is Q&A. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you have no questions, this is going to be really weird for a little while. And then we'll do like a pretty quick photo, and then do some rounds and scrap to the death. Okay, all the game stuff. So if you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them regarding the techniques or anything really. I'll do my best to answer, and yes. There you go. If you're behind me and you have your hand up, well, oh, thank you. I'm like, yes.
I was going to ask, how do you approach preparing for a tournament versus how you prepare for a superfight?
Okay, so it depends on the rule set. So like how I prepare would depend on the rule set, but I don't majorly focus in. I wouldn't say that preparation is that different between the two. But for a superfight, the benefit of that is I'm the only person I'm fighting, right? It's only one person. Whereas when we go to a tournament, it could be multiple, especially if you're like in the lower belts, it's like there's hundreds sometimes. So you can't possibly prepare for that. Or you can. The good news about that is that you can prepare yourself and you're not like focused on one person. Sometimes when we have like a super fight, we will like hone in on that person, we'll pop onto the Instagram, we'll go, oh god, it looks like they really like that, and are they going to do a flying armbar on me? And then you kind of almost will it into happening. That's what I've found is when I've seen someone and they're like particularly good at one thing, I almost make it happen because I'm so focused on that thing and avoiding that thing that they like to do. So my advice would be to don't Instagram stalk your comments. Obviously, if you know who they are, you can't really avoid that, right? Because I can see the opponent's name and you can. But I would say, like, I still always try and focus on my own preparation, getting myself as good as possible. It's always good to be mindful if someone is particularly into a certain style, right? If they're a really good wrestler, it's good to be mindful of that, to sit down as quickly as possible. But I don't want to obsess over exactly what they do. So the preparation would be very, very similar. I like to have jiu-jitsu that I can cross over between gi and no-gi. If you only like one of them, then that doesn't really apply. But I also like to have jiu-jitsu that can cross over to multiple rule sets, and that style would be to hunt for submissions, also look to dominate position before submission. It rhymes also, helps. And yeah, having that style where you are racking up as points, even if you're not getting points at submission only, you're still positionally controlling, and that will lead to submission as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So basically the same way. so you can hop in, especially when you're younger too, you can hop into any tournament and get all that experience, and you're not like, I need 6 months to prepare for this tournament, you know, like you just get that experience in and have a style that can sort of pop into any rule set, and then you go.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Very long.
Can I ask? For the next generation, have you got any tips if they're looking to go pro around sponsorship and how to put themselves out there and get the help that they need?
Yeah, so I literally wrote about this in the car because it's really topical. But I think it depends on where you are, right? But I think there's like this thing of like, I did I'm about to say because we talk about it. I did a GoFundMe, and I think there's a lot of, at least from what I see, I don't really go on Facebook often, there's a lot of shame put on people. Oh, the blue button did a GoFundMe, right? I was a blue button who did a GoFundMe. You did a GoFundMe?
A couple of times.
Okay. Just saying. And nobody has to donate. If you don't want to donate, if you want to make fun of the person doing it, fine. But nobody's forcing you to. But if you're like, hey, that person knows what they want, they're passionate, right? They're working hard. I want to donate. I want to help that person get that, and it pays off. It paid off for me. It paid off for you. It's paid off for a lot of people. A lot of people like did it too. So that is one way. Crowd support is a great way. I don't feel like we should look down on someone do that. Like someone's putting themselves out there, and they have a passion. They're going for it. That's brilliant, and that's something I would love to support too. And then there's the thing of in terms of getting sponsors. There's another thing of like, oh, how embarrassing, they're trying to look for sponsors. That's brilliant. We should be looking for sponsors. Nobody has to sponsor anyone. These people benefit off of you wearing their gear or supporting their brand or however, they get a lot of benefit off of that. At this point now for myself, like I didn't do it until very recently. I've now got like management who do that for me. I seek sponsorship because I don't know how to write the correct kind of email to get the attention to, and I only had one sponsor for the longest time, which is Progress. Drop the plug. But I only had like a jiu-jitsu gear sponsorship, so maybe I'm not the best person to ask in terms of how to get good sponsors. But I do now have someone who does that for me, and it was really worth it to get someone to outsource them and get the sponsorships. And now the sponsorships are very, very good, you know, like they're great support for me. But yeah, in the first place, I think people want to help. You can ask local businesses and stuff like that. They want to help. They will happily support you towards it. And I think like not being embarrassed to ask for help as well, especially when you have something you're passionate about. Like, I think that's really cool. And I feel like there's this little thing we all sort of want to like look down on. I don't, but like people want to kind of bash it. But I think asking for help because people want to help. And if they don't, they don't have to donate. Or that would be my. And I guess like posting stuff on social media, but you don't have to talk to it right now. You don't.
How do you deal with competition nerves?
Well, okay, the good news is you will always be there. No, that's not good news. Okay. Dealing with competition nerves. If someone says they don't get nervous, they are a liar or they are a freak. Or they are so good they don't need to worry about it. I've talked to people who said, I don't get nervous, what do you mean? And I'm like, they were built on time to joke. So I was like, okay, well that makes sense. So I am always nervous, but I think everyone's like, oh, it's just like the gym. I don't agree. It's not just like the gym, because now people are staring at you, even though they may not actually be watching you, they're just staring. And there's a weird man or woman, and they are doing this. And it's all weird, right? It's all awkward, and everyone's stiff. We're all like, and they're gripping each other really hard. That means they're nervous. If they're gripping you and like, oh my gosh, they feel so strong, they're actually just really nervous, and they won't feel very strong after a minute. My experience, professional experience. But practicing competing is important. So competing as much as you can. I know that competitions cost money, but if you can compete as often as possible, that's going to be really helpful. Because you have to practice it. You will always be nervous, but you'll be used to nerves. So sometimes I look really calm. I've been told I look calm sometimes, which is hilarious. But it's because I'm used to being in that environment. I'm used to the routine that helps me, and the routine will change. Sometimes I'm so nervous that I'm like almost not nervous anymore. That's the concerning one, because you feel like I can't lift my arms. If that's the case, I put hype up music on, I pop an energy drink down me, and I start to like, I delude myself that I'm excited. I'm like, I'm so excited to fight, can't wait, and I start slapping myself. So if you see that, you know you can sit. And then sometimes I'm like, I'm really agitated, excited to fight, but also nervous, excited. And I'll do yoga, like I'll start to stretch and I'll start to slow down, and I'll listen to something that's a bit more calming. So you'll learn what your needs are. Everyone is different. It's annoying, but it's true. And competing as often as possible, so you're used to the nerves, and and like also everyone's always like, just put the nerves out of your mind. Don't sit in the nerves. But even weeks before the tournament, it'll come into my head like, oh my god, I have to fight this person, and people will be flashing cameras in my face, and there'll be a highlight on flow afterwards. And that will pop in my head, and then I'll go, and instead of pushing it out of my head, which is really tempting, I like sit through it and I visualize, okay, going to the mat. Because you can do it in your head too, because if you don't have much competition experience, that's okay. You can also visualize, maybe you have one tournament you've done, you can visualize the process, okay, I'm walking to the mat. And I also listen to like music and imagine it, which I didn't realize that's visualizing. I was just like, I don't know, daydreaming like, but and I'll imagine myself doing all my favourite moves and all the cool moves, and I'm like, wow, I'm sick, and this highlight in my head. And then in reality it's like this. But yeah, like sitting in the nerves, feeling it, and then you're like, okay, and then practice calming yourself down on them. Like you will still be nervous, but like practice just like relaxing in the nerves and being like, okay, I'm gonna sit in it. It's not comfortable, but it's okay. And you know that once you start the fight, it just feels normal again, usually.
Cheers.
Sorry, it's really long.